everybody. Welcome to our first episode of Pagan and Hazak Discussed Games. That's P.H.D.
In case you didn't get the joke.
See what we did there? Yes.
Yeah.
So, on our first episode, we're just going to really kind of discuss what we want to do in this podcast. Essentially, talk about our interests. And yes, it involves games.
Who knew?
Who didn't know? And so
it's going to be awkward for a little bit, almost deliberately.
Yeah, because we're kind of awkward. In reality, it's that's just how we live our lives. And anyway, whole point is see right now, he forgot to hit the fucking button to start the time.
Probably not for kids. We're gonna swear. We
swear. Yeah, keep your shitty children off the goddamn episode. No, I'm just kidding. I love kids. There are nature's they're nature's fruits. We love them.
He means that in a totally non-pedophilic way.
I don't know how that's taken. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, you don't touch the baby. That's ugh. You don't know. Anyway, moving along with the podcast.
By the way, we've only got one mic, so we're having to sit together on a love seat. Yeah. It's awkward.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that we're broke as hell. We are studying. We are the Renaissance man of this generation. So we are in school. And school costs a lot of fucking money. So we scrounged up money together. We got this mic. We plan to improve. We plan on getting all that shit that makes it all sound fancy and neat and like we're not stuck inside of my apartment on this really small love seat.
It's close.
It's close. So
what's our first topic?
So our first topic is actually going to go over our general point of the entire podcast. So what we wanted to do here at P.H.D. is really discuss video games from different methods than just, oh, this game got a 5 out of 5. You should buy it. It has new graphics. We're really going to look at the meat and potatoes, to say, of video games. I don't know why DJ laughed so hard at that.
I'm laughing because both of us hate that type of review style.
Yeah, it's shit.
It's so bad.
So we're going to look at all sorts of things. We're going to look at why video games are made, how they're made, what they mean to us, both past and present. We're going to get into topics that may make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So check your privilege when you begin these episodes. Essentially, we're going to be looking at feminism in games, strong female characters, characters that identify with the LGBTQ community, race in video games, politics in video games, money in video games, just all sorts of shit. In some episodes, we'll just talk about why Mega Man jumps off a platform and what that means to us. It's kind of like my life. I jump off the platform and I hope I get to the other one, but I usually just fall and hit the spikes and blow up into 1,000 bubbles. But that's beside the point. Let's get down to what the episode is really about. This episode today, we're just really going to talk about ourselves as gamers. So
it's an awkward introductory episode, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go into our origin, so to speak. I'll hand it over to...
like every superhero movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll hand over the first question, I guess, to Pagan. And just in case you were wondering, the guy who's been talking for the past 2 minutes, me, I'm Hazak. Pagan is the other voice in the room.
And you may have already heard my real name. Actually, it's not my real name. That's not on my birth certificate, but my nickname. We're going to screw up a lot of times. Yeah. So you'll get to know us.
Yeah. So, I guess, Pagan, for the first one, we're going to go into your gaming origins. So we'll start off with your alias. By the way, our names are our gaming aliases. So, Pagan.
Yeah. It started way back in sophomore year of high school, I think. I was playing a lot of Halo 2
Memories.
on. My friend would invite like 8 people. We'd LAN. And I was going through a bunch of different names at the time. Nothing was sticking. Hazard stuck for a little bit. But then I had also been playing God of War, I think, or something. And I said, "Oh my gods." And somebody said, "What are you, a pagan?" Aha!
And thus he found the one way to piss off any like Christian oriented like gamer that takes their religion way too seriously,
as well as any actual pagans, because
yeah.
I'm like,
I'm closer to that than he is.
I'm an atheist, so there we go.
He don't believe in squat. I'm just yeah. That's not actually what it means, guys. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, pagan gets taken a lot at places. Like, some names are really obscure and are never going to be taken, and sometimes you are never going to find a way to have that. So I went with Frozen Pagan. I've always liked ice powers. Nowadays I'm running as Alchemist Pagan in a lot of places.
What? Okay, this is new to me, guys.
Yeah, because a couple of Frozen Pagan accounts got hacked, so I had to make new ones.
Too many dead pagans in the glacier, apparently, just not working.
So that's where it is now, Alchemist Pagan, because of really literally because I was an alchemist on my main in WoW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My origin story is
By the way, I haven't heard this one. I told him not to tell me this story because I wanted to hear it on the podcast.
Oh yeah, my alias name is not as interesting as his. So okay, as far as aliases go, I have the most. I am very, very secretive about who I am on the webs. I don't trust any of you bitches with the DSL connection or higher. For me, it's Hazak, Hazak.
So does that mean our AOL fans are free to try to hack you?
Yeah, y'all can take all the time you need. You'll never get me with your dial-up. And so, essentially, Hazak started off because I played one of the more decent MMORPGs at this time, Final Fantasy XIV. And I never really got into MMOs back in the day. It just wasn't part of the WoW crew. I was one of those councils will live forever fans for the longest time, and I quickly got out of that drug-addled state. So the whole point with Hazak was that I played one of those little people. Lalafels. Little cute chubby things and their little cute legs. And so I was a tank because I thought it would be fun to be the smallest thing on screen, tanking the biggest thing on screen. And so I played the Lalafell, and their names usually have a repetitious like connection. So my name like started off
Lala.
Yeah, like Lalafell. So my name was like Harara Baba, and I was like, hell no.
That sounds racist as fuck.
It probably was racist. Racist shit. Anyway, point is,
Japanese games, so what do you expect?
Yeah, they don't do research as much as they should on their games, but we'll get into that later. The whole thing with the Lalafell was that that's how their names worked, and so I was like, that sucks. So I deleted my last name, because even my fake characters should not have their last names posted online. That's how bad I am. And so I just changed it to Hazak, and it stuck. And so I started using that name for my League of Legends account and all sorts of stuff like that. And people actually just start calling me Hazak over and over again and everything. I have other names too, like Decimal Giraffe is one of them.
Oh yeah, that's a weird one.
That's so damn weird.
Where the fuck did you get that from?
Okay, so that one came from what's that shitty thing called? It was Xbox, the Xbox Live connection thing that when you had to play Dark Souls through Steam, you had to basically make a new name, and I was like hitting random. It was like Decimal Giraffe. I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm Decimal Giraffe, and that's actually my Steam.
Didn't you also go by Stone Monkey a lot?
Stone Monkey was another one. You guys will learn very quickly that I am very into Asian mythology, and I really like
the weeaboo is strong in him.
I said Asian for mythology, not just Japanese, but yes, I'm the closest one to a weeaboo on this couch right now. And Sun Wukong, the story of him, Sun Wukong, really interests me. The famous Chinese. Sorry, racism. Chinese mythology story about a literal monkey formed from stone, essentially. And so like I was really into that. If you don't know that story, if you watch Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, that's literally what they ripped it off of.
You know, I was about to say Journey to the West is actually a lot more interesting than just Dragon Ball Z and cheap references in anime and video games, but apparently it's you can just watch Dragon Ball and get the gist of it.
I've read Journey to the West. If you don't like reading, don't read it. It's like they're like, he used 1,000 spears and hit 1,000 arrows, and
yeah.
It's poetic though. It's really good. Anyway, moving along.
I just realized that I've also got at least. It's a weird thing when you talk to online people who only know you through your screen name, especially when that screen name could be mispronounced. Like I go by Alciri.
Oh God, I call it Alkiri all the time.
It's spelled Alciri, and it was coming from alchemist, Alciri. Yeah, I don't know.
Alciri sounds like some Latin language.
I came up with that
Siri.
long before the iPhone, by the way.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you guys owe him like what, $10?
I deserve back pay.
Moving ahead. So now to get into the meat of it, you guys heard our stupid alias stories, and I'm pretty sure you guys are like, where's the games? So, gaming origin story. Now this would be fun. Pagan.
All right. I remember the first games that I remember playing was on the Super Nintendo way back when I was like 5 or 4 or something like that. It was in my basement. We had a TV.
Where all good nerds are formed.
We had a TV down there. I have a scary ass basement, by the way.
It's scary shit.
It still freaks me out to this day. But I would go down there and brave the basement to play Super Mario Brothers, and I know I had an NES down there too, but I had an SNES, and I kind of like that more. I played Duck Hunt. I played Super Mario Brothers, but the real one that I liked was Super Mario World. I know that's the first game that I ever beat. I also remember beating Aladdin for the SNES.
Fuck that game.
We're going to talk about that one later.
Hard ass fucking game.
I love that game, man. That beating that game is when I realized that I could actually get shit done. Man,
and then he knew.
It's kind of sad to say out loud. I don't know.
Well, this is the point of the podcast, actually.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
And I played a few other SNES games, but really back then I had I was 5, 7. I was a kid. I went outside and played with sticks and pretended they were swords. I watched a lot of TV. We were poor. We are poor.
We are poor.
We will be poor. Hopefully, not much longer.
So poor.
Hopefully, that P.H.D. Actually, means more than just Pagan and Hazak.
This is the closest to a P.H.D. we've ever been to.
Let's see what else. But when I was 10, I got a N64 as a birthday gift. And I got Mario 64, and that really cemented my gamerhoodness thing. I play at that point. I played a lot more video games, and yeah, so that's it.
Okay. So, as you guys heard Pagan's backstory, you're going to quickly learn kind of the differences that we learned to play video games. So I'm going to drop some history on you little chillins as far as video games go. DJ's origin, Pagan's origins, is actually
see, there it goes.
Is really connected with what we look at like console gamers, their origins, and having a home system for you to play. In the long run, it's the cheaper method. Not me. I am old school gaming. I was raised in the arcades. For you people, you youngins who are listening to this right now, I may say arcade and you go, what? You mean the arcade store and the Wii or the PlayStation? No, motherfuckers. I had to ask my parents for quarters to go to a place where it was dark and scary, sometimes filled with smoke. Some of that smoke was not from tobacco, if you know what I'm talking about. And you would sit there and you would be playing video games.
Really, we're going to say fuck, but we're not going to acknowledge weed.
Well, you can go to jail for weed.
Not in some states.
In the good states. Anyway, the point is that I used to go to the arcade. I frequented a lot. I played a lot of games. The Ninja Turtles in Time video game, that game that's on like the NES and stuff. Yeah, I paid money for that. And you used to wait in line behind children for hours to get Leonardo because the other turtles didn't matter because they were not blue. We'll get into me in blue. It's going to be a big theme later on. But
I'm waving my hand off, by the way.
Anyway, fuck it. I'm my turn. Anyway, point is, I used to play Street Fighter 2 inside of like the Pizza Hut by myself. I used to play rail shooters. For some of you that don't know what a rail shooter is, that's essentially like it was very popular in Japan as well. You would have like a little plane or a little vehicle, and it could shoot lasers, and then you would get power-ups, and it would shoot bigger lasers, and eventually your laser was so big it would take up about 30% of the screen. Great game. Not great if you have anxiety. It'll drive you mad. But yeah, so eventually that evolved to me playing things like Marvel vs. Capcom, where I used to play people for their quarters. I embarrassed one guy in front of his girlfriend when I was like 8 years old. It was great. Maybe not 8. I forget when the game came out. But anyway, moving ahead from that, we didn't really have a lot of money for gaming systems when I was younger, but my grandma, bless this woman.
Maybe that's because you spent all your money at the arcade.
Point is, my grandma, she basically created what you have before you, so you can either bless or blame her. She sent a package to my dad one day with a Sega Genesis in it, and also a pack of comic books, a lot of comic books, and eventually you'll learn that I am a comic fan. I get mad when people say I like Marvel or DC and all you do is watch the movies. I know it's not fair. I know you may not have known about comics, but I don't care. I put a lot of time and effort into this. And so I am huge on comics. They are part of my life and philosophy on many things, as well as video games. So I played Sega. One of the first games on Sega was Sonic. Of course, what else would you play on Sega? And then I used to play games like Boogerman and rent them from Blockbuster. I know most of you kids don't know what renting our Blockbuster is, but
yeah, ask your parents.
But it's a great thing. It was wonderful.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
Whatever. I liked it.
It was a money separating scheme.
And so I would play games like the X-Men video games. What is the game? I can't even think of it. But anyway, so I had the Sega for a long time coming, and I would go to my cousin's house and play the Nintendo a lot, and he had like all the Super Marios and games like that. And for me, I would always get the system that I branded as the like the risky systems as a kid. So I had like the Sega. I didn't get the Nintendo because like Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Well, your grandmother gave it to you. You didn't have a choice.
Yeah, well, true. But then it became pride because all the other kids had Nintendo stuff, and so I was like, "Fuck you guys." So
tribalism at work.
Yes. So afterwards,
we're gonna bring that one up. It's gonna come up a lot.
So afterwards, I would eventually, graduate to Game Boy. PlayStation was actually my first, as you guys refer to as next gen systems nowadays. So for me, it was PlayStation. DJ got N64. I didn't get N64 until about a year later. Mainly because a kid stepped into my PlayStation. We'll go there later. On the PlayStation, my games were Mega Man X, 4, any kind of violent oriented game, honestly. Ape Escape, which we will discuss the greatness of Ape Escape later. And then of course I got N64, and just like DJ, it's like Mario 64. Actually, Crash Bandicoot was on the PlayStation. It was a great game as well. And then, it evolved from there. So our origins, as you can see, are a little bit different. They end up meeting in the same place, and we'll tell you our evolution later on down the line. So
I guess it's kind of important to say that I did have a PC.
Yeah, we both had those.
I can't remember when we got a PC. Like, I kind of just remember always having it, and it sucked. But sometimes I would log on to the thing, and I didn't really have any dedicated games for it, but I did have, like the games that came on PC.
Those cheap-ass games.
Wow, man. We'll probably try to talk about those sometimes. And the... I would occasionally make forays onto the PC, but I didn't really become a PC gamer until much, much later.
Yeah. I actually played a few PC games, more so at the library. I played like this game called like Mother Goose Stories. This game was the shit. You would play some avatar you made and go around and fuck up Mother Goose Stories. So like Jack be nimble and shit. Like, you could have him jump on the candle and fuck up shit. And the little old lady in the house, you could, like, take the food away from her children. This shit was intense. It was, like, awesome shit. Like, that was some good-ass gaming. Like, so, moving ahead. We went over our gaming origin story. Went over our aliases. Next up, and I'll actually let Pagan decide on this. You want to tell them like our favorite games, what gaming means to you, and your general gaming philosophy?
We should probably keep it short. If we're gonna do favorite games.
Okay. Well, we can.
All right. Well, I can bust most of these out. The two N64 Legend of Zeldas. Yeah. Pokemon Gold and Silver. That gen, Morrowind, World of Warcraft, Empire Earth, Civ. Currently, I'm loving the frick out of Europa Universalis and Crusader Kings. Really dig City Builders, SimCity 4, City Skylines. Halo was very important. Jak 2.
Yeah.
I could go on, but I'm going to call it there.
Okay. For me, it's got to be around like Final Fantasy 9. Yep, you forgot that. Final Fantasy 9. Any of the Telltale games are fucking amazing. I also like the Jak series, Ratchet and Clank series. Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger being the original one. Chrono Cross being the more obscure, awesome sequel that no one ever played. Ape Escape. Don't move your hands. Ape Escape. Metal Gear Solid series. Nothing better about being
the best movies in games.
Okay, yeah, we'll get into that. Anyway, it was a great game series. I still love it. Metal Gear is awesome. almost any fighting game series. I am huge on fighting games. Or used to be when I had more time.
I know that there are at least two that I could name that you don't like.
Which one?
That are alive.
There was a point in my horny teenage years where Dead or Alive was actually like, oh, okay, jiggling lady appendages. And now that you're older, it's kind of like, what the hell?
Mortal Kombat.
Ooh, dead on the money. Yeah, Mortal Kombat is shit. I don't care if you like Mortal Kombat. That is some stiff action. It is horrible. We'll get into that in fighting games. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, a good number of fighting games. A lot of JRPGs. I, of course, like the Legend of Zelda series. Mega Man series. One of my favorite characters in the world. Yeah, so I'll stop there as well. There's a lot for favorite games. And then I guess we can get into...
Yeah, this one's kind of important. What gaming means to you.
Yeah, what gaming means to us.
You go first.
Okay. And actually, you can jump in at any point here. We'll use this as a cross exchange thing.
Okay.
Like, there's no need to like make this up, take turns for this part. So gaming for me, let's be honest here. Gaming's fun. If it wasn't, you wouldn't fucking do it. Gaming is fun. That is the first thing that got me into it. It was fun. And then when you're a kid, it's amazing the stuff that you can do in these games, but you don't understand it. You played as a hedgehog. Have you seen a real hedgehog? Like, I worked with animals for years. Like, have you seen a real hedgehog? Like, they don't wear shoes, and they are not blue. They are not fast at all.
Did they actually make a noise?
Yeah, they make little noises. Like, they got like air coming out the ass. They make it because they're scared. They're actually very sweet. They're adorable hedgehogs.
I've heard they make good pets.
Yeah, they do. I think they're illegal in Georgia though. To own in Georgia. I don't think you can own them as pets in Georgia. Don't quote me if I'm wrong.
We're Atlanta boys.
Oh yeah. We're Southern. It's hot down here. Our tea is sweet and our chicken is fried.
It is
taters.
It is currently March and it is bumping 90.
Potatoes.
It's hot.
It's hot. Hot Atlanta. Yeah.
I'm dying.
Yeah, he don't do good in that heat. Yeah, we're Southern. That did slip out there. So I work with hedgehogs. Anyway, moving on. Gaming is fun. It's great. And so when it comes to gaming, one of the great things about gaming is its transformation aspects. What it yields to you. This is just not something you pick up and play. Some of you do. Some of you just play the game. But for a lot of us, this transforms us. It instills us with self-efficacy, self-confidence in oneself, giving you that ability and know-how to do something that you thought you couldn't do. You didn't know you could climb the giant turtle and slay it with your pony being around there, and you're going, I grow. We'll get into that game later. And so, and then when you're done, you're just like, these people made this for me. That's how you feel. You don't feel that they made this for millions of other people. Like, they made this stuff for you. And then when you explore what games can intensify, you can play games that make you make radical decisions for people whose lives are in your hands. And you actually feel that. Like, these people are pixels and digitized material, but you don't feel that. If you're scratching, that's my cat. I'm one of the three. And so, these people, they are part of your life. They're just not these people that just passed you by. And gaming for me is all about that. It's about making these connections within yourself, seeing how you feel, how you connect, how you evolve, and how you view your world. Games teach you a lot of things. Like, you make a decision in a game, and let's say you make the actual decision. Are you making this so you can get a certain ending? Are you trying to get to certain points? Are you one of those fulfill type people? Or you have goals? Or are you very moral? Are you very oriented towards your conscious? And this happens in all sorts of ways. You can look at it in interpretation of ways of how you play fighting games. There's the wait and hit kind of people, the grapplers, the people that transform your attacks from one move to another. You have your rush down characters that just come at you. gaming can be explored in so many different ways. And as you listen to us through this podcast, not only do I hope you kind of learn and enjoy that, but also that you kind of see our two different aspects with video games. Me and apparently Tintin has joined us.
One of the cats
on the couch here.
The fattest.
He's not fat. Nom, nom. Oh, that's some gum right there. Anyway, point is, that's just kind of my general one. I'll get more in detail into it after I kind of let Pagan take the wheel for a second.
Yeah, well, you love your cat. Yeah. He talks a highfalutin game, and a lot of that is also important to me, but gaming is fun. Gaming is it is both escape and fulfillment and time waster, and the thing that you spend your time, like, it isn't a time waster, it's the thing that you want to do the most. Gaming is so much of my life that if I were to remove it, I'm not certain if there'd be enough left there to call a life. It's been big to me in a lot of ways. It's informed a lot of the ways that I think. I'm kind of a systems person. Often I think of life in the terms of a games. I think about how the mechanics could be applied to life and so forth. And it's also I've met a lot of friends and kept up with a lot of friends through video games, and I also compete through video games. So there's the competitive and the cooperative social aspects. I love matching my skills, and I love getting better. Hazak is now walking off with his cat to do something.
I'm giving him treats!
He's,
If he doesn't get the treats, he'll start eating cables. My cat is a terrorist.
I told you that cat is a fat ass. And Hazak is enabling the cat.
Blame my lady friend. She's not here.
Yeah, in fact, I do blame her for all of the cats.
All the cats.
And that's what gaming means to me is a hard question, because gaming is a lot of my life. Just a massive portion.
Okay. So what you probably got from that is nothing at all, because we really just gave you guys both like a roundabout way. It really is hard to kind of explain your philosophy with games, or at least I feel it is. But me and Pagan definitely show it in the way we act, we behave, what we take from our games, how we feel about certain games. Oh my god! I just forgot what one of my favorite games is. Beyond God. Good and Evil. I'm sorry.
Are we going back to that?
Like, I just gotta put that out there.
No. We're 32 minutes in. We gotta continue.
Okay, fine.
And you could go off on that game for months.
Good. Anyway,
it'll be an episode.
So that's usually what gaming means to us. So now, a little bit different, but a little bit the same. Our gaming philosophy.
Okay, yeah, you gotta explain what that means, because...
Okay, so he doesn't know what I was aiming at with gaming philosophy. So it kind of ties in a lot with gaming, what gaming means to us, but more so just when you're looking at a game, what are you looking for? What are you taking from it? What does it benefit to you? And you got a little bit of that from both of us. But gaming philosophy, we can put more words to it, and then you can kind of understand, and you can definitely see this. It'll be more explored throughout our episodes. But essentially just kind of looking at what we're looking for in games. And since Pagan doesn't really know what I meant by that, I'll start off and kind of give an example.
I think I've got an idea now.
Okay, well, your ideas are not welcome here.
I'm going to put my foot in your face.
You ain't even that flexible. Point is, so He is now attempting to put his nasty ass foot in my face. Um,
Told you I was that flexible.
nasty ass shit. So moving to our gaming philosophy. So my gaming philosophy is really about story and characters. Like, I like good gameplay. I like graphics. You know, I like tight controls. I love ingenuity. As a matter of fact, ingenuity will probably be my second thing that I look for in games. But oh my goodness, story will. I will play almost any game with a good story, and I mean that. I have literally played games I thought I would never play because the stories are so good. They've made me fans of the genre.
Such as?
Telltale games, point and click adventures.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would never have thought I would see myself playing these games, but they're stories. Shooters.
Now, I
Halo.
do have a question for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
One of your absolute favorite genres of fighting games, have very limited stories. And what stories they have
are convoluted and bad.
They suck.
So, here's how fighting games are for me. It really is, when it comes to fighting games, about the beatdown. But even with fighting games, I like the story. And at a younger age, I actually tried to get to know the story. And I know the story and the origins of many of my favorite characters. Now, don't get me wrong. Some games, when it comes to fighting, just lack story. And their stories are so convoluted, they're just like, why?
Now, I feel it's important to mention here that when you're saying story, you do mean like an explicit story that is...
Yes, not just, so your character is... a perfect example would be like Mega Man and Samus are great games. Metroid and Mega Man are great games. I love them. And they have story, definitely. But you don't live out that story through the gameplay. The newest Metroid you kind of do, and in the X series you kind of do. But you are playing these games for the gameplay. You don't go to these games going, oh, I wonder what mysteries will I unveil here. You don't know. You don't care. But
this is one of the points where we disagree on.
Right. Yeah. We kind of you'll hear Pagan's example of it, and his is not wrong either. But for me, I really like to feel like it's a storybook kind of thing going on here. Even a movie kind of thing, as long as it's not too much Metal Gear. And so, I really like a narrative, or I like to be involved, and I like the ingenuity and manipulation that comes from that, and the new characters that evolve from that. That's really what I look for in my games. Not to say that I don't play others, but yeah. Take it away, Pagan.
Okay. I don't have as strong, like, Hazak is very specific. He does love explicit stories in his games. And while there are notable exceptions to that, it is kind of his rule. Me, I'm kind of more all over the place. I cannot say exactly that there is a single holistic philosophy for me. There are many things that I've taken away from a game or that has brought me to a game. One of the things that is definitely important to me, more so than almost anything else, though, is how I feel while I am playing the game, the feel of it. And while sometimes that's tight controls, sometimes that's a bunch of little things that are adding together to make a good user experience. It isn't one genre. It isn't specific stories. In fact, a lot of times, one thing that I definitely know that I like a lot is I like systems, and I like replayability.
Oh yeah.
And I also like strategic games. I like games where I'm able to think and able to experiment, and games where I'm able to set forth a plan and ruthlessly
slaughter millions.
By the way, we're going to talk about this at one point. I have an interesting idea for what is the most violent game or violent game series, and it's not what you're thinking. So
it's Kirby.
I know that's kind of a lackluster answer as far as my gaming philosophy, but like I don't have something that's as specific as him because I'm pulled to a lot of different. Or do you? Sometimes an outside perspective is better than a bad introspection. Do you think I've got a coherent gaming philosophy?
He definitely does. We both do, and it is hard to interpret because, like he said, there's outliers for me as well. I love a good puzzle game. My God, actually, I play more puzzle games outside of the quote unquote standard gaming media than anything else that I play. I love that aspect of things. But on that same token, you can really see that like DJ said, I really go for like the story. Pagan definitely has a thing. He really, like he said, he likes the strats. He likes to think of different ways in same games over and over again. Repetition does not bug him like it bugs me. And so he really goes for those games. He wanted to play a game called Democracy.
It was actually one of, it was rather fun, but it was not the best spreadsheet simulator game.
He wanted to play, and you heard that here, folks, a spreadsheet simulator game.
One of these days, I'm going to get him into Eve. It's going to be amazing.
Hell no. Like that is, and this is where you can see that he definitely has a actual way of playing it. Like we both are avid D&D players. But you can even tell just about what roles we take. I am a DM. I have ran D&D for years. I ran a game for 2.5 years. He's been a player in those games. And he was my systems person. Like, yeah. I was the DM, but I had a designated player to tell me every single form of number crunching. Ironically enough, DJ sucks at arithmetic. And so
great at calculus though.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But the whole point is that yeah, like we have different ways of looking at games. I would say, or at least I would argue that you definitely have an area, like there's a game he would go to, a game type that he would definitely go to. Not to say he wouldn't play other things the same way I would play, because I played XCOM, you know, that necessarily wouldn't go into my form of playing, but it's good and I love it. It's hard as balls, but it's good. So, you know, like, yeah. So that is gaming philosophy.
All right. And that...
Well, before we conclude, let's wait a bit.
All right, let's see.
Kind of give you guys a bit of a teaser. We are hoping to do these shows.
Not sure if this was going to be what you were saying, but we're planning to do the 10 episodes and then release them week by week. Is that what you're going to say?
Why would you tell them that?
I don't see how it's a bad thing.
Now the mystery is gone. I was going to make you guys think that we were rolling these things out like clockwork, like we were hard workers and not lazy bastards.
We aren't going to be lazy. We are going to be working hard.
Are hardly working. Anyway, bad pun is bad. And so we will.
Old meme is old.
We are old. So essentially, we'll be going over every episode different video games and different aspects of video games. So like I said earlier, we may one day have an episode R2, R3, R4. Actually, we'll have a lot that will involve like the LGBTQ community inside of video games, which isn't a lot.
Get all the acronyms in there. Just
LGBTQ A. Did I get them
What's
all?
the I? Oh, intersex.
Yes.
Oh.
Did I get them? I hope I got them. If I didn't, comment and say you fucked up.
Yeah, yell at him.
Yeah, you know.
It's actually his best motivator.
I feel bad about things. But yeah, we'll go into different philosophies in games, things that we don't necessarily may not agree with, things like that, and how they impact our community. One of the biggest things that we're definitely going to get in, and we are hoping, because we're not going to be able to accurately do this ourselves, to talk about girl gamers. Like, it's a thing in our community, and our community is not handling it well at all. Like, you guys are being a bunch of dicks.
Even the term girl gamer.
Girl gamer. Yeah, actually, yeah. That's a bad way of looking at it.
There's... if we keep talking about it, we're gonna
just turn this.
That episode.
We're gonna turn this episode into that episode, and we can't do that. Plus, we don't have I don't feel that we have the enough people for this for that episode. So
yeah, how about let's not mansplain it?
Yeah. So moving past that, we're going to also get into video games themselves. So we'll have episodes, particularly our earlier episodes, will really focus on a game and how that game is interpreted in many different ways and aspects. It, of course, is going to be fun. Like, we're going to goof off and shit. But we are going to kind of look at these things in a different way, in a serious way. So, because gaming, while it's great and it's fun, this impacts people's lives. And so that's really what's going to happen for the next couple of episodes. If you have ideas for future episodes, and if you like what you're hearing so far, you know, like, subscribe, blah, 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 all that jazz.
Press all the buttons.
Press every button. We may try to get a button for you just to press. Like, it'll just be a button. It won't do shit. Like, it just counts, like, as many times as you press it. And so we're hoping you, like, you know, give us ideas if you have any. Let us know. Let us be heard. And let you be heard. I mean, I'm sorry.
And let us be heard.
Yeah, that too. So, yeah, give us your insight.
Should we talk about the thing that we want at the end of the 10 episodes, or are we going to save that one?
The thing that we want? At the
yeah,
end
you know, the thing that we want. That thing that we want.
No.
Okay.
No, we don't talk about that thing yet. We haven't been accepted yet to the community.
That's true.
You know, we have to be accepted.
Okay, fine.
Greet us with open arms. Do not flay us. We do not respond well to that. And if you have just general questions, send it to us. Maybe we can help you.
We do respond well to filleting, though.
My cat didn't even like that joke. Did you like hear that? Like he made the cat the joke, and my cat immediately was like, "Fucking stupid ass joke."
I'm sorry. You're trying so hard at this exit segment, and I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it.
Yeah. We really hope this works.
It'll work. See ya.
Thank you for playing.